been on teams where, just any team, where does your best player have such a heavy load on the offensive end, and then a heavy, just as equal heavy load on the defensive end? That's hard to do. That's hard to do, especially against somebody like Luka.
All right, so that's Drew Holiday. And like every other Celtic said, we know what he's trying to do. He's trying to put a wedge in between us. We're not going to fall for it. And then Drew answered the question that way. Greg and I were shocked that he answered it that way. I almost wanted to be like, wait, did you hear what I said? Like, why are you answering it that way? And then yesterday, in this
Panthers capture their first cup. Now to Reinhardt, back in front, deflection, they score. The Panthers tie it at 2. Or will the Edmonton Oilers end Canada's 3-decade-long Stanley Cup drought? It's the game! It's Connor McDavid! Hear the home and away broadcast of every game on Sirius XM in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app. And talk about the quest for the cup on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91.
Some vibes that I love, some songs that I listen to on the regular.
Boundary-pushing hip-hop and R&B from around the globe. Music and culture by Drake.
I always say it's so much deeper than music.
On his exclusive Sirius XM channel.
The one and only Sound 42.
To hear Sound 42, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/go.
With the SiriusXM Platinum VIP plan, you can unlock the ultimate listening experience in up to 2 cars and stream anywhere with 2 app logins. Enjoy our greatest content, opportunities for live VIP experiences, and prioritize customer care. Plus, get access to over 5,000 audio and video concert recordings through nugs.net. Call 844-711-8800 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
There you go now. I think I'm recording. Oh, I think.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs, and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 0184868.
Grando Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici. Let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me and people who love reparations and the universe. I got to get the reparations in part now because they say a mind is a terrible thing to waste, and if you're not for reparations, you probably wasting your mind. You're wasting your fucking mind. The great Spock in Star Trek said, "Spock, are you out of your fucking mind?" You don't want to be out of your fucking mind, and that's what happens if you anti-reparations. I want to make sure we get that. I want to say, what a beautiful day! It is June 10th, 2024. On a beautiful Monday, today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, this standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them sit you where the good Lord split you. And how about a full tank of gas before I drive this thing off the line, if that makes sense to you. I really do appreciate all things are great when it comes to the world of Big C Sports Podcast. And I want you to know, everything is just wonderful. It's a beautiful day. We have Father's Day weekend coming up soon, and everybody knows it's all good. I'm telling you, when you think about fathers and mothers, make sure you give them collard greens for Father's Day weekend. Even if you don't ask for collard greens, He probably wants a collard greens for the holidays, but sometimes you don't want to beg. Ain't too proud to beg, but you don't want to beg. But I'm telling you, most fathers, they want some collard greens for Father's Day. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I want to say I do Big C Sports Podcast. I got a lot of stuff coming up. What about those? How about those Cowboys? That would be. How about those Mavericks down in Texas? Everybody loves this time of year. We have NBA basketball. We have NBA basketball is super fantastic, especially when they shoot a three-point shot. Jason Tatum for three. Get the hole in your life. Yes. Jaylen Brown for three. Get the hole in your life. Yes. I love NBA basketball. We got to get some Kyrie Irving doing his thing. Luka Doncic has been doing his thing. Kyrie Irving, not as much. At the same time, when you go back to Texas, where they announced that slavery was over, they did it 2 years later to get some more free labor. And now you got some good boys saying that we don't need no reparations. We do need reparations. It's going to come when a lot of good people, you people start doing the right thing. If you consider yourself a good person, then you got to do the right thing for reparations. That's my story, and I'm taking with it. I want to say with the Big C Sports Podcast, not only that, you can follow Big C Sports streaming on 4 TV applications: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon and Fire TV. And then, not only that, I love saying 29 podcast applications out of New York City. New York City in your life. Get the hole. Man, New York City, I'm telling the Dodgers and the Yankees. The Dodgers took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. But last night they let Aaron Judge do his thing, so the Yankees finally got a win in that big East Coast versus West Coast series. So I know a lot of people in the East Coast are happy that the Yankees did not get shut out. They didn't get swept by the Dodgers, but maybe they'll meet again. Would that be amazing, a World Series with the Yankees and the Dodgers? The Dodgers came from Brooklyn. Yankees stayed there, and now Dodgers went back to Brooklyn and showed them how real men play baseball on the West Coast. The Lakers, they got a little bit egg in their face. Not the kind of egg omelet that you like to eat. They were told no, and I'll get into that. I think if it comes to NBA basketball, why would you leave? And there are a lot of people saying that the Lakers' job was a great job, but is it really a great job when every coach feels that if he goes there, he's really not going to be the coach? They think LeBron's the coach. That's not fair to LeBron, but it's probably true. And when you think about that, I'll talk more about that too, why you would turn down $70 million to coach a team in Los Angeles. They didn't say turn down $70 million to coach a team in Buffalo, New York. But $70 million, you say no to $70 million. And that's what Dan Hurley turned down. How much money does he have? See, that's why we need reparations. When a white man can turn down $70 million. How you dare say we don't need reparations? I don't know any black man would turn down $70 million to coach the Lakers. That tells you how good they got it. And that's a fact. What man in this economy would turn down $70 million? They offered him $70 million to coach the Lakers. You know what he said? He said, no, I'm good. And you say we don't need reparations? That's a story in itself. Oh, I got to tell you, I love what I do with Big C Sports, but Dan Hurley turned down 6 years, $70 million. He said, I'm going to be okay where I am. Come on. That doesn't make any sense. But obviously that tells you how some society has it. Probably got some of that homestead money in his lineage. Also, it's easier for white men to get college coaching jobs as well as NBA jobs. They fired Darvin Ham, who took them to the Western Conference Finals, and they lost to the eventual NBA champion Denver Nuggets last year. And then they lost this year to the same team, the Nuggets. And then they fired Ham, who just joined Doc Rivers with his staff in Milwaukee. But they fired Darvin Ham. You could be an African-American coach, get your team to the Western Conference Finals, and back to the playoffs the next year and still lose your job. But they take, not only that, they want to offer a white man with no NBA coaching experience, who only coaches college kids, and they offered him in 6 years, $70 million. And he is such a good position in life. He said, no, I don't need the $70 million. Oh, we don't need no reparations. If your life is so good, you turn down $70 million, we need reparations. That's just a fact. I'm not knocking Hurley, but he's in such a position in life when Ham just got fired by that same team. They told him, they said, get out! After taking him to the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago. In the playoffs this year. But you think about that when it comes to reparations. A white man has it so good, he could turn down $70 million to coach the NBA 17-time champion LA Lakers. That's a fact. That shows you how good he feels his prospects are in life, that he could turn down that amount of money. And you have men looking for opportunities. They have Mike Brown in Sacramento. He just signed a contract, got the $8 million a year they're giving him. And he turned the Kings around, made the playoffs for the first time in like 16 years. And they were kind of struggling to get him some money. They were like, well, we know all you did is help them make the playoffs 1 year. They hadn't been there in 16 years. The second best winning percentage under Rick Adelman, or after Rick Adelman, in the history of the Kings since they've been on the West Coast, in Southern California. And they were still holding their sphincter tight to give him some money. But that just shows you, in a league where black men dominate 80%, they'll fire a black man if he misses the playoffs after 1 year. Monty Williams going from Phoenix. Ham going from the Lakers. But a white guy who only coached college, they want to give him $70 million. And life is so good for him. He told them, he said no. To not coach in LA, maybe they should have offered him $71 million. Maybe he would have said yeah for $71 million. How many people would turn that money down? Not a lot of people. And that's a fact, people. That's why I love talking about Big C Sports Podcast. I always produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the platforms. Has the sound effects. I do that, but the sound effects provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our life. You know, you can laugh pretty hard when you can turn down $70 million. You got people trying to win lotto tickets to win $50 million. A white man has it so good in this country, he turns down $70 million. I'm not knocking him, but he's never been an NBA coach. I can see if he coached the Celtics and had a championship. I can see if he coached Cleveland and had a championship. I can see if he coached Golden State and had a championship. I can see if he coached the New York Knicks and had a championship. He's coached UConn. And they offered him $70 million. And he told them no. He said, my life is so privileged, I'm telling you no for $70 million. Don't you dare say we don't deserve reparations in this country. $70 million is not enough to get a man to leave and join that workforce. But as I say, the stats are provided. I do the storytelling. Jaylen Brown for 3. Yes, get the hole in your life. LeBron James said he turned down $70 million. May lightning strike. How good does Hurley have it? You think about that when the white man puts together his resume, I'll turn down this $70 million. And then black man can't keep a job even when they make the playoffs. They were talking about firing Mike Brown's butt. The Kings hadn't made the playoffs in 16 years. And some good old boy said, well, we don't know if he's our fit. 16 years? They hadn't made the playoffs. And then media saying, well, we don't know if he's the right guy for us. That makes no sense to me. But that's the way love goes. And then the show's uploaded to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City and streaming on 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. I just got to tell you, well, that's my story that I'm sticking with it. Give that some praise. I want to say I also want to make sure that I always pay homage to the Veterans Crisis Hotline, because they are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know, anybody needing help, they do a really good job. And I love offering that on Big C Sports Podcast. In fact, I might be the only sports show in the universe that talks about the Veterans Crisis Hotline. And I do it every show. I want to make sure that we do our part. I know people talk about, well, we want to do the best we can for our veterans. And doing the best you can is one thing. For me, I want to do the best I can for reparations. So that's why I talk about it on every program. I've even heard some black men saying, oh, we don't need no reparations. And then they say they don't need reparations. And we don't find our descendants of Holocaust saying they don't need reparations. We don't find our Native Americans saying they don't need reparations. We don't find the Japanese Americans that had ancestry interned in internment camps. They're not saying they don't need reparations. But someone convinced a black man with a sports show to say, oh, we don't want to talk about reparations. Why? A white man turned down $70 million. 70. And then they put a black man on TV and say, well, we don't need no reparations. Some people say if you give reparations to descendants of child of slavery, all they're going to do is spend the money. What? What else do you do with money? You either spend or invest. You either spend or invest. And I heard some black man say, well, we don't need to give reparations because they're going to spend the money. Of course. You're going to spend or invest. Isn't that what you do with your paycheck? You either spend the money or you invest the money. But then a white man turned down $70 million to coach black men. What's that look like to you? How's that working for you? Anti-reparationist. Life is so good for some people, $70 million won't even get them to move. And then we have people who look just like us saying, well, we don't need no reparations. It might make people upset. Man, I tell you, life is something else. Well, as I say, I want to pay homage to the Veterans Crisis Hotline because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And I want to do my part, making sure veterans get their help. You know anybody going through issues? 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give it some praise. Because we all need somebody to lean on. And it's so nice when somebody's leaning back. Really do appreciate that. I want to also get into this. I'm kind of working on, I love sports. I tell you, the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning, they've won more Stanley Cups than all teams in Canada combined over the last 20 years. Isn't that something? That shows you how hockey's come from Canada, and they're trying to grow their business in the United States, and it's actually working. They're having more success with teams in the United States. I mean, Florida itself, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers have more success. I know the Oilers are trying to get on the right side. They're trying to get off the thin ice. They're skating on thin ice. They're trying to stop skating on thin ice, but those boys from Florida try to do their thing and put a whipping on them. In the meantime, speaking of thin ice, I have an infomercial that I'm working on, and I'm trying to perfect it. And hopefully it'll make sense to you as I perfect this commercial, because you can't please everybody. When a white man can turn down $70 million to coach a basketball team, may lightning strike. You know life has been pretty good to him. As we're praying and praying and praying for Jesus to save us, how about pray for reparations? That's my theory, and I'm sticking with it. But I do have an infomercial I want to run, as I have a special guest coming on today. I want to get some more thoughts on reparations, as the Assembly in California is going to have a big meeting tomorrow. And I want to make sure that I'm part of that meeting, and I got some stuff to get into. But I want to say, Ready, Set, Go, a guide to protect, preserve, and transfer wealth, resource development consulting Inc. in conjunction with the law office of Scott Thibodeau and the law office of George Jones, the Missing Link, long-term care. Solutions by the book, over 3 decades of experience, helping seniors to get their benefits, Medicare and You, taking care of tomorrow. And in California, it's called Medi-Cal. Other places called Medicaid. Your family and spouse can avoid the spend down for nursing home costs. You can find out your options. You have a lot of options where you can turn down $70 million. Our promise to you, specialized to navigate and maximize long-term care benefits, protection of your assets without a spend down. When you can turn down $70 million, somebody's already protected your assets, if that makes sense to you. How you turn down $70 million? To coach the Lakers, all paperwork and communication with all government agencies are handled by a staff of entitlement specialists. Benefits covering skilled nursing facilities, prescription medication, medical equipment costs, and more. Do you know anyone that's ever dealt with skilled nursing facilities? You know everyone who's ever dealt with medical prescriptions? Do you know anyone who's ever dealt with medical equipment costs? Not only that, protection of your assets! Like the good old boy that turned down $70 million goes to Lakers. Somebody's protecting him pretty good. All's fair in love and war, but that's a lot of money to turn down, which means he must be having a lot of his asset protection handled by somebody else. Protection of your assets, including your home, thereby allowing you to leave a legacy for your family, avoiding the nightmare of debt, brought by the government's estate recovery program called probate. If you don't have a will and a trust, they have a will for you, and you will not like it. They will come after all your assets, if that makes sense to you. That's why we help you with that. 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. And get some help with that at one-time processing fee versus monthly insurance premiums for the rest of your life. But not only that, I said not only that, we have asset protection, insurance. It covers required by law, general liability, workers' compensation, lawyers specializing in living trust, Medicaid or Medi-Cal planning for long-term care, avoid probate, life insurance, veterans benefits, aid and attendance, pre-planning, and avoid the look-back period, that if that makes sense to you. What about your fixed assets, Big C? I'm glad you asked. Bank account, checking account, savings account, money market account, certificates of deposit, life insurance with cash values, fixed index annuities. What about variable assets? I'm glad you asked. Real estate, qualified money, IRAs, 401ks, other investments. You can avoid capital gains. You want to know how to avoid capital gains? You got to have a trust. Let's say you buy a house for $100,000. And then 1 year later, that house appreciates to $1 million. According to some real estate brokers, let's say what they got to say to get it sold. Well, that's a $900,000 capital gains tax. You avoid that when your property is in a trust. Over 3 decades of experience. Attention business owners. Find out your other options to protect what your insurance does not cover. Oh, my insurance covers everything. Oh, that's not necessarily true. All we need is a copy of your declaration page, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. When you do, you just tell them Big C sent you and get us some praise. I want to also say, as you give them that praise, when someone asks you to do business with them, you want to ask who endorses them. I'm going to tell you we have the endorsements of, it's so important, Mr. George Jones. He's the chairman of the California Black Chamber of Commerce, also the California Black Chamber of Commerce Foundation. We have Mr. Leon Woods. He's with Resource Development Consulting, also works with many of the top lobbyists in California. Really do appreciate him and what he's doing with the RDC team. We have Mr. Ray De La Cruz. He's the CEO of RDC, has the endorsement of the late Robert Carlson, who is the top legal mind of CalPERS in California. We have Miss Cheryl Brown. She's the chair of the California Commission on Aging. Have her endorsement. Not only that, that's important. We have the endorsement of Mr. Alex De La Cruz. He's the founder of Americans Veterans Benefits. That's important. Not only that, we have Charlton Curry, who's the co-chair of the National Black Wall Street Project, Northern California chapter, also owner of Big C Sports, and then consultant with the RDC team. And I endorse the RDC team. Not only that, we have Double O, Payout Committee for the National Black Wall Street Project, also consultant with the RDC team, has her own radio show called Economics Awareness Talks, called Let's Eat. And everybody likes to eat. Give it all praise. You got to give that praise. So when somebody says they want you to go with them, just ask them who's already going with them. 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. Before I get into what I want to talk about, I have a guest coming in. But tomorrow at the state capitol in California, there's a big event coming up. And I'll get into it because it's important. And I tell you, for people who think, well, I'm just going to sit back and watch what happens. You can't sit back and watch what happens in life. Because if you do, you might be caught sitting on your assets, if that makes sense to you. Get off your assets and vote. A lot of people say no reparations, no vote. And I understand that. And so when I think about what happens in the world of sports, before I get into some sports, I got to tell you, the state assembly has a big happening going on tomorrow in Northern California, and I'm going to be a part of that. We have Senate Bills 1403, Senate Bill 1331, and Senate Bill 1050. I believe they're going to talk about getting the votes for that, and I'm going to talk to Reggie coming up. Got to have him calling in just a little bit. Going to talk to him about that, but I want to make sure that I do my part in helping elucidate the subject, because a lot of our good old boys that just want to see you go touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Oh, man, Willie, he's going all the way. Sometimes they're trying to pull the wool out from under us as we're cheering for the game. As we can't wait to watch the game, sometimes they're trying to pull the wool out from under us. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen on my watch. When we can be in the situation as African Americans where we could turn down $70 million, then of course some people don't think about reparations. But that's what happened. $70 million. And you think about it. You think about when a person that's never coached an NBA team can turn down $70 million. Well, that's what Dan Hurley turned down. I know he led UConn to 2 championships. But if your life is so good, you could turn down $70 million. You have NBA players that won't turn down $70 million over 6 years. But that tells you how good life is for him, and that's why reparations are so important. What I'm going to do is take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. Before I get into what happened with the Celtics, knocking out the good boys from Texas, the Dallas Mavericks, it's just 2-0. But 2-0 is pretty tough to overcome. I'm going to have on a good friend of mine by the name of Reggie Romain, and he has a lot to say about reparations. Sends me a lot of important information. Some things I knew about, some things I did not know about. I'm going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout, and I'll be back in just a moment. You don't want to miss it. All right, I'm back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 29 podcast applications all over the universe. And streaming on 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. I want to tell you, I'm big on sports, but I'm more than just sports. I love football, basketball, baseball, MMA. I love all of it. At the same time, I love intelligent people, and I love things that really make sense to us as a people. I have the great opportunity to talk to Reggie Romain. He does a lot of work on reparations, and he has a T-shirt that I met him. He had it on when I met him at a reparations meeting in Northern California. I'm going to ask him about that, but he also does some work with CJAC, and they also are a part of getting out the information on reparations. I think I have you on the call, Mr. Reggie. Are you on, sir?
Yes, sir. I am here.
Well, I appreciate you coming on Big C Sports Podcast. We go rapid fire. I know you're in LA. I gotta ask you this question before we get into reparations. Dan Hurley, a college basketball coach at UConn, never coached an NBA team. He just was offered $70 million for 6 years to coach the Lakers. And you know what he said? He said no! Does that tell you how good some of our Caucasian brethren have it? When $70 million will not entice you to coach an NBA basketball team that you already have it so good, sir, your thoughts?
First of all, man, let me just thank you for this platform, and I love the work that you're doing. Love your show. It is funny, and it is serious. But let me get to that $70 million. Did you know that his wife made that decision, my man? She didn't want to come to California.
Well, $70 million? What are they getting back in UConn for her not to want $70 million, Reggie?
I couldn't tell you, but sometimes, man, you got to go with your wife, man. They say happy wife, happy life, but I think happy husband and wife. Okay.
Hey, I guess we talk about reparations, and they're saying no to $70 million. But hey, whatever. That shows you how good they got set up by the Homestead Act and all that other the good old boy network that's out there. You're going to turn down $70 million in this economy. That makes no sense. But that's the way it is in this life. I got to ask you, I love sports. I love Dallas. I watched Dallas and Boston last night. Boston has a great team. I love the way Jaylen Brown plays. I just talked to his father the day before Game 1 of the NBA Finals. But that aside, we love our sports. And as an African-American culture, sometimes we are, Reggie, we are recruited from elementary to junior high school to high school and then college. And then not only that, into professional sports. And they love our athleticism on the basketball court. But what I appreciate about you have that same tenacity for reparations. Not only that, about putting pen to paper. Not only that, you're working with a program called CJAC, official.org, to make sure that you advocate for reparations. Your thoughts?
Yeah, first of all, man, hats off to Jaylen, man. Man, he is awesome, man. He is doing his job. And it was a great show with his father, man. I love for him to talk about reparations too. But CJAC, man, CJAC is just it's a coalition and an organization that Shirley Weber gave them. They started off with the 80-31-21.
Yeah.
And when I first came in Oakland, I met Chris, and I looked at their work, and I looked at what they were doing, and I got a little history about them. And man, this coalition right here is the number one grassroots organization in California that got the AB 31 passed. Got the what did we get? We got the Senate floor. We got them passed. The three bills: SB 1403, SB 1331, and SB 1050. Then we got it passed at like 3 days apart. We blew them out. We had 91 votes to 19.
Wow. 91 to 19. That would be called a wipeout if it were a basketball game. Now, at the same time, I think it's Chris Hodges. Is that his name? I believe so. Hodges.
Chris Lodson.
Lodson. Okay,
yes,
wonderful.
Salute, Chris. Salute.
Yeah, he does a lot of good work. In fact, he does a lot of collaboration with Senator Bradford, I believe. Is that so? Your thoughts?
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Well, Bradford tells him what we need, just like these letters that we need. More letters, and show up to the public hearing. And Chris does it.
Now, let me ask you this, Reggie. Again, talking to Reggie Romain, he's part of the... Tell me your shirt again, because that's what got my attention when I met you about 2 years ago at a reparations meeting in Northern California, and you had that shirt on. It said 1619 Matters. Tell me what that's about and how it came to fruition, your thoughts.
Okay, Reggie Romain, a.k.a. Double R. Okay, that's me. Hey,
Double R, yep.
Well, we have to go through that year's study just to find out what they was going to call us. We couldn't call ourselves Black Americans, Blacks, or whatever. So they came up with African Americans. So I went a little further. So I went to August 20th in 1619 when the first ship came over here, White Lion. So that's what our lineage is, 1619. So I say it matters.
Okay, it does matter. Now, I know that you're so good at saying, tell the California Assembly Judiciary Committee to vote yes on Senate Bill 1403, Senate Bill 1331, and Senate Bill 1050. I believe that's going to happen tomorrow at the state capitol, and I think it's room 447 at 9 o'clock a.m. Now, everybody can't be there, obviously, Reggie, but how important is it? Do you know how many numbers we need to get it passed? I think of course, you talked about the Senate getting all the votes they needed. I think they needed 21 in the Senate. And I think now, we need 40 for the Assembly? Does that make sense, your thoughts?
No, sir. This is the start of it. This is the State of California Judiciary Committee. Okay. There's only going to be 12 members there. We have 9 Democrats and we have 3 Republicans, 9 and 3. Okay. So all we need is 7.
Oh, just 7. Okay, 7 the lucky number, and I do appreciate your correction on that, too, at the same time. So when we look at, people say, well, what is Senate Bill 1403? I believe it creates an agency to verify eligibility and implementation for reparations. Your thoughts?
Yes, sir. That is the groundwork of it. They're going to be handling all the policies, my brother. It's not going to be with the people in Capitol and behind the doors. We are going to actually have our own people write these policies. And the first thing we have to do is talk about lineage. We have to get everybody prepared to qualify. Yes. After that, when the funds come with the 1331, from the lineage base all the way till they cut the checks from the state, federal, or donators, that's what the American Freedmen's Affairs Agency is going to do. And we're about to open up a chapter here in the IE. I will be a part of the IE chapter of the Freedmen's Affairs Agency.
And IE is Southern California for Inland Empire, like San Bernardino, Fontana, Moreno Valley area?
Yes, sir. Okay, yes, sir. Perfect. Riverside, San Bernardino, yes, sir.
Okay, that's a large county in Southern California. And then people say, well, what is Senate Bill 1331? I believe it creates a reparations fund, as you mentioned, in the state treasury to facilitate funding for reparations. And it's, from what I understand, people say, we don't have money in California. We know money is fiat currency anyway. And Senator Bradford said that there's money there, but it's not known to the public because we have reserves, just like we have underground water tables. There's reserves, and that money's there. And I think there's a $14 trillion difference in black and white debt. That money's there. So when people say they don't want their tax dollars going up, it's not just about that. And reparations is more than just give me some money. It's about housing, taxes, education, better health, so many other things. Would you expound on that, please, Reggie?
Yes, a lot of people do. Like, where are they going to get it from? I don't want to pay my tax money. We're not asking for your tax money. We're asking for, they have 4 reserves. Yes. And you're right. Senator Bradford just picked one of them, the rainy day funds. They said if you pay trillions of dollars to blacks on reparations, out of that one fund reserve right there, it wouldn't put a dent in it. But however, you guys have to look at this. This is not just state; it is federal as well. If you look at SB 1331, this is funds that is coming from the state, federal, and donators. So it's not just the state. And when we go to federal, that's how we're going to get our land and some more money. So I yield.
Yes, man, you're so powerful. And this is why, again, talking to Reggie Romain, he has that 1619 on his shirt, and it matters because we all talk about if somebody has something taken from them. Let's say someone goes home to their house and someone robbed it. The first thing they would do, this is for the people who say they don't want reparations. The first thing they would do is they would say, wait a minute, let me call 911. I got to tell you, I was robbed. And so they want the police to come out and do an investigation. And they say, well, do you have any video camera footage to see what happened, like they're doing with P. Diddy, et cetera, and other people? And you say, yes, I do. And what can you give us a description? Yes, it's called the United States government. That's who robbed us. And they know it. They've even offered an apology. And I know there's a bill out there, I think it's called HB 194, but they've offered an apology. You don't apologize for something you did not do. But people know if their home was robbed, Reggie, you can't tell me that they would not want their stuff back, especially if they know who took it. The land that was worked for free, the land did not disappear. They didn't send it into outer space. The labor that was created, it went into the hands and the bank accounts of the slaveholders. And many people know when Lincoln passed the Emancipation Proclamation, reparations was passed. It was offered, but it was offered to white slave owners for the lost labor. How dare someone say they don't believe in doing what's right for descendants of child slavery? Your thoughts?
I like that quote you said. Assets. Okay,
I want my assets back. Yes.
In the universe, I'm telling you, look at here. You got to remember the Homestead Act on what they did when they brought the Europeans up in here.
Yeah.
They gave them free land.
Yeah.
They said if you grow a pea on this land, and you can have this land for free in 5 years. But they built the agriculture college so they can learn how to do that.
Yeah.
And after that, they were pennies on the dollar per acre. So come on, man, knock it off. But you talk about this money. This money is what is owed from us in 1619 free labor.
Yeah.
Now, coming up August 20th of this year, it will be 405 years since we landed that first ship, that our first Africans came off that ship. But all we want is what's rightfully ours.
Yeah.
Just think about if they would have gave us 40 acres in 1865.
Yeah.
What do you think, how many acres our ancestors would have gotten right now? Well, we would have like 400,000 acres? Because we the agricultures of this country.
Yeah.
I yield.
Well, you know what? What I love about you is your facts, because compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. And according to Einstein, and that land that was given, they didn't earn it. They didn't work for it. It was stolen. The labor was stolen. And slavery is a crime. It's a crime against humanity. We know it's existed everywhere in the world at some places, but it was manumitted slavery where you could work for your freedom. And so when people say in the United States of America, the wealthiest country on the planet, we don't want to pay back what was stolen, but they have insurance on their property and their business. And as soon as they get robbed, they file a claim. And I dare you to have them cancel their insurance policies if they're anti-reparations. All it means is to repair what was stolen. If you have a car, you have it insured, someone crashes into you, the first thing you do is you call your insurance company and say, I've had an accident, someone crashed into me. Do you have insurance? Yes, I do. Okay, if the policy is current, you know they're going to repair that vehicle. Why do people turn a blind eye when it comes to reparations? And one more thought, watching NBA basketball. I was watching the Dallas Mavericks last night and the Boston Celtics, and there was a scene where I think Dallas was down by 5, and they were driving to the basket. Well, Jaylen Brown and Porzingis, they fouled the player going to the basket. You know, they went to the replay to see it should have been called a foul, meaning they should have given them a chance to go to the free throw line because they looked at the replay. They tried to repair the call. Even though they didn't do it, they could have repaired the call. That's why they had the replay in the NBA. We've seen the call in the United States for reparations. Descendants of chattel slavery have not gotten it. Heirs of the Holocaust have gotten reparations. We've had Japanese Americans have gotten reparations. Native Americans have gotten reparations. Like the NBA tries to get it right. What's standing in the way of the federal government trying to get it right for descendants of chattel slavery, Reggie? Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, lives are you can't pay for lives that you took away from us. And let me give you an example. This is the ancestor that talked to me, give me this drive. It was a 2-year-old girl who found the coin.
Yeah.
And when she found the coin, They hung her. Well, they usually hang somebody for two days or maybe 2 weeks at the most.
Wow.
But they hung this 2-year-old girl for 2 months just to show us that you better never touch a coin. Now, see, that kind of messes us up for the post-traumatic slave syndrome that we're going through. But however, our ancestors is telling us we are proud of you. Keep the fight.
Proud of us and keeping the fight. Talking to the great Reggie Romain. He's part of he works with assembly members and also advocates that are pushing reparations through pen and paper. The marching's fine, but no one cares about marching anymore. The way Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, he did not have a march. It was through executive order, which President Biden has a chance to do right now, as opposed to just going in the black churches saying, please vote for me. He has the ball in his hand. You ever play ball, Reggie, and have the ball in your hand, whether it's football or basketball, and all you got to do is you can fall across the goal line and you'll score. Why would you go out of bounds? And it seems like not even acknowledging reparations is like running out of bounds when all you got to do is fall across the goal line. That makes sense to you?
It really don't. But you know what I mean? But what we looking at, and we saying that for 160 years. Matter of fact, since 1966, we had full power on voting.
Yeah.
We're like a dog chasing our tail. Who are we voting for? See, that's why we do. We track everybody at this legislations meeting and the Congress and everybody. What are they doing at the bottom? The presidents really don't matter to us. We're worried about the ones that's going to get there who are supporting us.
Yes. Yes, that's very good knowledge. Talking to Reggie Romain, also a big advocate for reparations. I'm really just proud of what you're doing. But I want to give a shout out to Tim and also Marvell. They do a blog talk show called One Gong every Monday through Friday from 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I love the way you participate in that. Also, back to the Senate bills. We talked about 1331, and that's for to create a fund. And then Senate Bill 1403 to create the agency. But then Senate Bill 1050, we just talked about if someone breaks into your house, the first thing you do when you go home, even if you're anti-reparations, you call 911 to say, I've been robbed. And they ask you, do you have any security equipment so we can see who did it? Or do you have any eyewitnesses of it? Well, Senate Bill 1050, it provides restitution for property taken unjustly by the state of California, eminent domain. Oftentimes taking people's property to put a highway through it, taking people's property to do other things that were nefarious and did not pay a fair wage for that. And that's what 1050 looks to establish. In fact, Senator Bradford helped someone get their property back down in Southern California. I want to think it's called Bruce Beach, and also other parts of the state. Your thoughts?
Absolutely, man. You're right. Bruce Beach is a prime example of the land that was stolen. We have hundreds of people whose lands was stolen.
Yeah.
Just like, what's the brother that was at the meeting? I forgot his family name. But however, his father his great-great-grandfather was after he died, they buried him under another name. But however, he had a manifesto that was in the wall. They wouldn't have known about his identity if they wouldn't have found that manifesto. So, America is very wicked. But however, a lot of people got a lot of evidence and they will get their land back.
It's all about the law, and documentation beats conversation. The documentation is out there. So I hope that the same way we'll spend $1,000 to go watch an NBA game. A lot of people do. Or people will spend $1,000 to go watch a concert. A lot of people do. But when I was at the Secretary of State building with Shirley Weber, who we worked with Gavin Newsom to help put together the task force in the first place, I think the room sold out, but it couldn't have been more than 1,000 people in there. And I just hope that even if you can't be there, that people will pay attention to what's going on in California. And don't be cynical. Even New York Governor Kathy Hochul, a Caucasian woman, she's putting together a task force to study what Gavin Newsom put together with the help of Shirley Weber. And now Wall Street was built on the backs of slaves. Black bodies were sold and traded as a commodity the way you trade rice and corn and cotton. That was done to descendants of child slavery, men, women, and children. And now they're talking about trying to repair the damage. So I'm proud of governors around the country. It's not just California. It's people who do the right thing, what I call good people, you people. And you people are the ones who want to do the right thing. And I think the laws are going to start swinging in our favor. Reggie, I want to ask you in the next 2 minutes, if you don't mind. So the measures recommended by California's first in the nation, Reparations Task Force, give me your thoughts on some people that you would like to edify and get their property back. And don't be cynical. Even if you can't be there, that people will pay attention to what's going on in California. And now they're talking about trying to repair the damage. So I'm proud of governors around the country. It's not just California. It's people who do the right thing, what I call good people, you people. And you people are the ones who want to do the right thing. And I think the laws are going to start swinging in our favor. Reggie, I want to ask you in the next 2 minutes, if you don't mind. So the measures recommended by California's first in the nation, Reparations Task Force, give me your thoughts on some people that you would like to edify that may not be well known. I talked about Tim and then Marvell that may not be well known that have been part of you understanding that this is a good thing to put your cause behind your thoughts.
Man, first of all, salute to Dr. Shirley Weber. Oh,
Yes.
my God, Secretary of State. They put her in the LA Times, I think a day or two ago, that she was the godmother of reparations. No, she is the queen of reparations.
Yes.
And hats off and salute to Governor Newsom. That is our John Brown Army type of person.
Yes.
He really is trying to. He said he devoured the reparations study, the final study.
Yes.
When they came up with the full book, 1,065 pages. But however, man, it's just so many, man. Bishop Henry Williams, ex-slave. I got to salute him. He's 89 years old.
Yes.
And we doing that for him as well. You got. Oh man, there's just so many, man. I mean, when I did this study and started following it, I met so many people that's good. So if I miss somebody, I'll be remiss. But however, everybody who show up, we have the same drive, and we all working as a team.
You know, I'm so proud of you, Reggie. In the final minute, Coalition for Just and Equitable California, CJEC. Tell me, if you can, how you became aware of them, and then how you got involved with what they do, because I get these updates from you. You're always sending me stuff, and I really do appreciate you for that. So I wish people like Al Sharpton or whoever else is talking reparations on a national level, we need Ben Crump, one of the top most prominent attorneys out there, like the new Johnny Cochran, if that makes sense to you. Irrespective of what color, we need good people that want to do the right thing for descendants of child slavery that have been done for every culture on the planet that's ever received reparations. Tell me again your thoughts on what you're doing with CJEC and how you got involved with them, your thoughts.
Well, first of all, I met Chris at my first meeting in Oakland. He gave me his number, and I've been sending him scriptures every morning. The brother responds every morning to my scriptures. So as he saw me and my fire and everything, he finally asked me to join him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, salute. Oh, man, it's an honor. You guys are legends. I mean, I call him Kobe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Every time we do something on my chat, I'll be like, get him, Kobe. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like a Derek Fisher.
Yes.
You know, just give me a little last minute shot and I'll try to hit something. You feel me?
Yes.
But, man, the organization and the brotherhood and sisterhood there is just, man, they have enlightened me on politics. I knew nothing about politics 3 years ago.
Wow.
But they have me tuned up to par, and I'm ready to go to bat with the best of them. You feel me? But however, I think that this push here, it's a teamwork. Everybody has to do their part.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So CJEC, man, salute to them. Well, salute to us now since I joined them.
Yes.
But however, we are legends. We go down in history because it never got this far before.
Wow. I'm proud of you. Well, it's Big C Sports Podcast. I hear more and more, even Stephen A. Smith is talking about political items, not just who won a game, because as black men, descendants of child slavery, African Americans, whatever you want to call us, all life began on the African continent, according to Dr. Leaking Regramendo. And that's a fact. They opine that all life began in Africa. And we know that, and that's science related. But it also means that we can't just be pigeonholed in entertainment and sports. And that's why I'm so, Shirley Chisholm, first African-American woman to run for president of the United States. I'm so proud of people like yourself that are willing to break bread on the airwaves and talk about more than who won a game. So I really want to thank you for your time, Reggie. And if there's a way that people can follow you, whether it's the website for CJEC or anything else, is there anything that people can do to reach out to you to be a part of what you're doing? Because you really push hard on making sure that people are informed about this push for reparations. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I like the platforms of speaking about it because that's the first thing, the awareness of reparations. That's our job, for reparations awareness. Like I was on, today I'll be on 4 shows, but I was on Al Sharpton's show earlier. I actually did a replay come on at 5:30 when I was singing on there and everything. And then I always talk about CJEC. I have to get the word out. Even on the Lincoln Ware show out of Cincinnati, Ohio, they were not believers until I told them the qualifications that if you lived in California prior to August 2020, you are back to 1850. You still, if you live here 6 months, you qualify for reparations.
Wow.
So it's just me giving everybody the awareness, the education. But like I said, man, go to www.cjec- which is the slash, I mean, not the slash, but the minus sign, then official.org. and you will find everything on there. That's where we need to go to. That should be, and if you look at the study book from Reparations Task Force, that needs to be in our schools from 1st through 12th. Not just Black history, but it's the real African American history.
Yes, I appreciate you. Well, this is Big C Sports. Reggie, I want to thank you for being on the program. I met you just by being in the same spirit, making sure that we do the right thing for descendants of a child of slavery. People can Google the JUST Act, J-U-S-T Act, and it shows how the United States Department of Justice, they're making sure that descendants of Holocaust get their reparations as we are breathing. So how dare anyone say that we don't deserve that as descendants of child of slavery? We didn't get the Homestead Act, we didn't get the GI Bill, but we're going to get our reparations. Reggie, as I close off, I'm going to give you a softball. If the LA Lakers call you, Jeannie Buds call you, say, Reggie, I know you're a sports fan, I know you love LA. We want to give you $70 million over 6 years to coach the LA Lakers. What would you say? What would you say, Reggie? Your thoughts?
I would be on a jet plane like yesterday.
But you still push for reparations, right? Reggie, I appreciate you very much. The new coach of the NBA basketball champions, Los Angeles Lakers 17 championships. Their new head coach is Reggie Romain. He would take the $70 million and I'd be right there with him. Reggie, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day.
Salute to you, my brother. God bless. Love you, bro.
God bless. Thank you, sir. All right, this is Big C Sports Podcast, coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Podcast. And I'm telling you, just had Reggie Romain, and he's part of CJAC. We're all for reparations. But I'm also going to give you a little bit of what happened last night in the NBA, because I love sports, and we can do it all. I'll take what's called the Big C Pause, also known as the Big C Timeout, and I'll be back in just a moment. You don't want to miss it. Don't go away. All right, I'm back from the Big C Pause, also known as the Big C Timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 29 podcast applications all over the universe. And streaming on 4 TV platforms, Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. I want to make sure that I pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force, because, as I say, I do it every show, and I think I'm the only sports show in the universe that does that. Of course, the great Secretary of State, Shirley Weber, she commissioned the task force to be put together with the California Governor, Gavin Newsom. But also, I want to give praise to the chair, Camila Moore. She's brilliant. Love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Dr. Amos C. Brown. He's the vice chair. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to give praise to California Senator Stephen Bradford. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. Also, Amos Brown was on the Big C Sports Podcast about 2 months ago. Really do appreciate that. I've met with Senator Stephen Bradford many times at task force meetings and also at his office. I love giving him praise. A really bright man. He championed the Senate bills that we talked about, 1050, 1334, and 1331. 1304 and 1331. Love giving them praise. I want to give praise to Council Member Monica Montgomery Stepp. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to give praise to Dr. Shell Grills. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to her attorney, Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. And I want to give praise to Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at California Berkeley. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I'm going to give praise to attorney Donald K. Tamaki. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. Give them all praise, praise, praise. And you can too, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. I love having that leverage with Big C Sports Podcast. And I hope that more and more people are just doing the right thing and making sure that we're not afraid to do what's right. Because reparations will stimulate our economy. I know it, you know it, and a lot of people know it. But as I say, last night we had some NBA basketball. I can't believe Dan Hurley turned down $70 million. But I got some thoughts. $70 million! He must be doing pretty good, if that makes sense to you. But I got some thoughts on what happened in the NBA Finals last night. Boston leads 2-0. But now we go back to Texas. But I want you to hear some thoughts outside of my thoughts on what happened with the game last night.
Head out to Boston momentarily.
Hello, this is Charlton.
Hi, is this the print place?
No, this is Charlton. Oh, I met you at the print place for the Juneteenth.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I got you locked in.
Okay, thank you, miss.
Options, capable scoring options, hits the three and score team. But then Luka, what an incredible play to slow down the pace, draw the contact from Horford, make the free throw. It's a 5-point game. Now on the other end, Tatum's trying to go to work. Great block. Here comes Kyrie. He gave to P.J. Washington an incredible block at the rim by Derek White. No contact on that. I thought there had to be a foul in real time. There was not. And the Celtics get a 7-point victory.
What a game it was for the Boston Celtics. When you say you love NBA action, it's fantastic. What a fantastic game last night by Boston, showing that they are the better team. I think Kyrie Irving has to play much better if Dallas is going to get on the winning side of the table when they go back to Texas. And they will go back to Texas for Game 3. But you got to take some better offense with you. I think Boston's just a little bit too good. They're more physical. And when it gets down inside the paint, they learn to protect their assets, if that makes sense to you. And Dallas has to return the favor when they get back home. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. But I want to close out today's show with the NBA basketball. We know it's fantastic, and I do love this game. It's a miss or make league, and it's so important that the players, they plug in. I would love to see the NBA champion more about reparations, because descendants of child slavery, we built this country, and we've been turned into entertainers and athletes. But not only that, there's another side to the table that talks about the law, and that we are a nation of the law. And I want good people, you people, to do the right thing when it comes to reparations, and why it's important as the California State Assembly member tomorrow at 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I believe it's a room 1447. It's for the Assembly to meet and vote on whether we go forward. And there's a lot of things I want to talk about with that. Tomorrow, I'm going to touch base on $40 billion. A $40 billion debt could ruin the livelihoods of employees as Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, and inside the NBA, they face a shutdown. And when you think about that, $40 billion in debt, and now other TV stations want to come in and buy it. So that might be the end of that show. And hopefully they'll talk reparations so they'll have enough money to keep living. I know Shaq and Charles Barkley are doing very well off in life, so they won't have a problem with that. But I really do appreciate bringing you Big C Sports Podcast. It's really big at the state capitol, California, the California Assembly. They're going to champion reparations now, reparations forever. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. As I always tell you on every Big C Sports Podcast, I want to thank you, Reggie, for coming on the Big C Sports Podcast and championing reparations. I really do appreciate the dialogue. And as I always tell everybody who follows Big C Sports Podcast, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber, you can call Lyft, you can walk it off, you can sleep it off, but don't let someone you love get behind the wheel of the car and start drinking after they've been driving. The life you saved, maybe your own or somebody that you love, and that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever go through that garbage on their own. If somebody's hitting you, I only hit you because you make me mad. Call 911. If somebody's kicking you, I only kicked you because you made me mad. Call 911. If somebody's choking you out, I only choked you because you made me mad. Call 911. No man, woman, or child should ever have to put up with that crap. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as you know, back by popular demand, back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Bodini Brown. He's known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, he said, you float like a butterfly, and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. And every time I listen to Big C Sports, I want to champion reparations now, reparations forever. And then I felt like a butterfly, and I sting like a bee. There was no fighter greater than Muhammad Ali. Well, as I always tell you on every Big C Sports podcast, I love giving praise to my beautiful family legacy. On my mama's side, my great-grandparents, Mama and Pop, my grandparents, Mud Deer and Hezekiah, and then I could always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and also coaching all boys in Little League baseball team. to the championship of the universe. Always saying rise and shine. The best person I ever met in my life. On my father's side, my grandparents, Albert and Alberta Curry, they were pastors. They owned 3 churches. They also owned 2 gas stations in Oakland. I was 8 years old walking through a hallway one night at 10 o'clock at night. I felt someone touch me on my forehead. She said, "What are you doing, young man? Going to get some more cookies?" I said, "What are you doing up, Grandma? It's 10 o'clock at night. You normally go to bed at 8:30. She said, "What are you doing, young man? Going to get some more cookies?" I said, "Cookies are baby crap to what I'm doing, Grandma. I'm going to get my reparations." But some cookies wouldn't hurt. She said, "There's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak." And now I'm streaming on 29 podcast platforms and streaming on 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. I really do appreciate them. Love them with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure planes can fly high. So we all stay safe at night. Love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. A voracious reader, always saying go forward. Love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul, Todd. And my beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors in 3.5 years from a major university. Set up the very first interview for Big C Sports Podcast back in the day at Salem Media. Daisy, you can be anything you want to be. Always trust God. Isaiah 54:17. That no weapon formed against you will prosper. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College graduate, very smart, erudite, a good man. Malcolm, I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Always trust God. Isaiah 54:17. That no weapon formed against you will prosper. One day, Malcolm helped me save trees. I used to always get newspapers and look up stats for Big C Sports Podcast. One day, Malcolm said, "Dad, why don't you just Google it?" And a light bulb went up. I've been Googling ever since. One day, Malcolm said, "Dad, you want to see Big C Sports on TV?" I said, "Sure." He said, "Pick up the remote, aim it at the TV and say, play Big C Sports. You'll see your show come up." That's before it was even on the air. Now it's on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Really do appreciate that. Malcolm, you can be anything you want to be. Always, always trust God. Isaiah 50:17. And then Big C, Malcolm, I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. The Big C with all that wealth of knowledge over the years, always saying you got to believe, you got to believe, you got to believe, saying let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show, ESPN nominated Big C Sports Podcast. I have no scripts. I have no 3-way teleprompter. I have no producer in my ear. All I have is a gland in the brain called the pineal gland. The ancients called it the third eye. And that's how I do my show. They say that's how you talk to God. I'm going to keep talking and doing the best I can. Well, as I always tell you on every Big C Sports Podcast, I want to say the right thing to do is the right thing. I want you to champion reparations now, reparations forever. Say it like your heart, mind, body, and soul believes in it. Say reparations now, reparations forever. What do you got to do the right thing? You got to champion reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you. I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day.